Okay, we're on. Hey guys, welcome in this edition of Come Cook with Joe. So tonight we have got a very berry pork chop. The reason why it's called that is because it calls for the strawberry preserves, but I wanted you guys to get what's the word I'm looking for? Adventurous, and see what kind of different preserves you can use. Like I said, last time we used the strawberry preserves. So this time we have the peach preserves because I think that would go really good with pork chops. So we've got our preserves ready, we've got our apple cider vinegar ready, and we've got our classic yellow French mustard ready. So tonight we're going to need a high-walled frying pan, so a chartreuse, or it doesn't have to be high-walled. Well, I guess it needs to be a little bit high-walled because we're going to be putting the sauce in on top of the pork chops. And that way we can go ahead and get those that thickened up for us. So we'll go ahead and start with our sauce. So first things first, we're going to take our preserves, and we're going to add in a 1/4 cup into our measuring cup here. So I hope everybody's week's been good. I know the rain's come in, which is something that we desperately need. Okay, so we've got about a 1/4 cup of our preserve in there. And so I'm going to be done with this rubber spatula so I can put it in the sink. Now, on top of that, since we're just going to use the same measuring cup, I'm just going to pour in to the 1/2 cup measurement of the apple cider vinegar. Right, 1/4 cup, but I'm going to 1/2 cup because 1/4 and 1/4 is 1/2. So, went to the 1/2 cup, and now we're going to take some of our mustard, and it calls for 1 tablespoon. Oops, calls for 1 tablespoon, so I'm just going to eyeball that. So I'm going to put that right in there with that. So now we're going to use our whisk. We're going to come in here and we're just going to mix this up. Be real careful because it's going to splash on you if you go too fast. To start with, so you want to make sure that all that gets incorporated. So that's what we've got there. So it looks really good. So we'll set that on the side. Now I'm going to go through something with you guys for just a minute because I found something. This is something that Kim and I always do. So we usually go to Sam's and we'll buy a pork loin. So it's usually about maybe, maybe 10 to 15 pounds. And we'll spend about $15 on that. So looking at Kroger's today on their website, they have 3-pack of boneless pork chops for $6.76. So then they have a center boneless pork chop, 3-pack for $7.42. Well, like I said, with our loin that we usually pick up, I would cook for Kim's senior picnic one year. We bought 2 loins and I cut up those and I got over 100 chops, right?
You got I think you got 20 on each.
Oh, okay.
About 40.
Okay, so we got about 40 on each. So, but to show you tonight, like what we usually do is we'll take that loin and I'll usually cut it into 3 different sections. So then I can do whatever I want to with it. I can take it out like I'm going to do tonight and I'm going to cut out some chops. Or I can just use the cut loin for the roast and do like pork roast or, pulled pork in the crock pot and that sort of stuff. I can do a Mississippi roast with it. So a lot of different things we can do with that. So it's a lot less expensive. So tonight what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this loin out, or this roast of loin, put it right there on our cutting board, and I'm just going to come in here and I'm going to cut 3 chops tonight, going about maybe 3/4 of an inch to an inch thick. And I'm just going to come in here and cut those away. Now, if you've already got yours pre-cut, that's fine too. Like I said, I'm just trying to think of ways to save you guys money and whatnot. So since we've got those 3 cut off, I'm going to go ahead and put that back in the bag. And now I have the rest of that roast that I can do whatever I want to with it. I can come back and I can cut out more pork chops. I can dice it and do our fall pork that we did that one time. which was actually the first one we did, or I can use the roast and just leave it in roast form. So a lot of different versatile things that you can do with it after that point in time. So what I usually do is just put it in a big gallon-sized bag like that, and we'll stick that out in our freezer. We'll thaw them as we need to, and you've got some pretty good meat in your freezer then at that point in time. So I'm going to stick this back in the fridge. Alrighty. Now, that's the hardest part of the night. Actually getting that mixed up and those things cut was the hardest part. So it's going to be a real easy, fun night for you. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to come over here and I'm going to turn on my skillet, my frying pan. I've got about a medium heat there. If you need some oil for your pan, go ahead and use it. Guys, I have found and sold myself out to these porcelain-lined cooking equipment because they just do wonderful things. So I'm just going to take my chops. I'm going to lay them right in here. It's hard to make anything stick on this, and that's what I'm talking about. It's just, it's absolutely wonderful. So Kim's here with me, of course, and if you guys have any questions, just feel free to put them in the comment section. She can tell me what the questions are, and I can get back in with you. So, do a little bit of cleanup here. Put our mustard back away. Put the preserves back away. There. I'll take our sauce and set it over here so it's within reach for us. And now we're just going to let these cook. Now what we're going to do is we're going to let these cook. Really, you're going to cook them about 8 minutes, 4 on each side. You want to get a good cover on them. Make sure that they're brown. Your internal temperature on those should actually be 145. So if you're taking an internal temperature before you make them or before you serve them, your internal temperature on pork should be 145. And really, guys, this is about as hard as it's getting tonight. So. Again, it's a really nice recipe. It's easy. It's quick. Most of the stuff you should have on hand. Hopefully nobody had to run out and buy anything really extravagant unless you wanted to try a different preserve. But yeah, it's a great recipe. Like I said, Kim and I have made it one time with the strawberry preserve, and it was amazing. It was outstanding. So I wanted to come back with you guys and try it with you all. So. What's really nice about the porcelain-lined cookingware is that basically whenever you get done cooking, all you have to do is just really, everything just wipes out. I mean, we wash it, of course, but it wipes out. Nothing sticks. I haven't found anything that I could actually get to stick on the inside of this, and it's great. So chicken doesn't stick. The pork chops, once you see here in a minute, they don't stick. Fish doesn't stick. It's really, really good cookware. So, best part about this is if you cut those pork chops, if you actually cut them in 3/8 to an inch, basically what you're looking at there is that it's not going to take too long to cook through. So, of course, the bigger the pork chop, the more it's going to take to actually cook that pork chop through. So we aren't going to need any seasonings such as salt and pepper or anything along those lines because, again, we're going to look to the preserves to actually season our pork chops. And with that strawberry, it was really good with the sweetness, and I'm really excited about the peach because I think it'll really set the pork chops off. I understand that my mother-in-law grabbed some apricot, mango, peach preserves, so I'm anxious to hear how those turn out. So. And hopefully my mom got some pork chops back if she's doing this tonight because she lost electricity for an entire day. And so probably lost everything in her refrigerator. So as you guys see, these aren't sticking at all. It's absolutely awesome cookware. So we are going to get those browned on both sides. And once they get browned, what we're going to do is we're going to take our preserves and just basically cover the pork chops. And then we're going to let that reduce down a little bit and thicken up for us. And then we will plate the pork chops. I'm going to be doing mixed vegetables with these tonight. Kim has to have her social distancing, so we will. we've got a bowl for her, and but I'll plate mine with the mixed vegetables, and you guys can see how that looks here at the end.
Something like I put this on.
Okay, probably when we add the sauce. She's asking when we need to put the mixed vegetables on, and I told her once we add the sauce, we'll go ahead and throw those in. So I'm thinking next week, push comes to shove, we might go ahead and do the cherry bombs like I told you guys we were going to do this week. But then we came across this recipe and I just couldn't pass it up with you guys. Oops. Hopefully my father-in-law is at home because I know Cindy's probably cooking these right now. And I'm hoping he's home to enjoy these because I know how much he loves pork. Huh? And Black Rock. Now we're starting to get a good browning on both sides of these.
My dad just walked in.
Oh, awesome.
My mom likes these nights because she doesn't have to think about what the cook is already determined for her.
So Kim's telling me that Cindy likes these nights because she doesn't have to plan on what to cook because it's already sort of decided for her. So all she has to do is just run out and pick up the ingredients and then and then cook. So it's okay unless we do a dessert like next week. And like I said, that might change too. I mean, I don't know if we'll do that or not. We'll see. But if we do a dessert, you still have to sort of figure out what you're going to do for your main course. Unless it was those Buckeye brownies again, and then that's too sweet. You can't eat anything anyways. All right, now since those are brown on both sides, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and take our preserves. We're going to cover these up, the pork chops, and just pour the rest of that right in there. Make sure we get all this goodness. We'll go ahead and reduce the heat a little bit down to almost a low. Smells great. That steam is also going to help the pork chops cook the rest of the way through. So whenever you add those preserves, obviously you see all the steam that's coming up. That steam is going to help cook those, like I said, the pork chops the rest of the way through. Now at this point in time, we don't want to flip them. We just want to let them set, because that way the preserves on top will actually start to caramelize and gel. And then the rest of this, like I said, what we're going to do with the rest of this runoff is we're going to use that on our plating, and we'll put down the pork chops, and then we'll take the leftovers and sort of drizzle over top of the actual pork chops. We're going to let these cook probably about 4 more minutes. Then by that time the vegetables should just be about done. Now, the other part to this recipe is once we get done with this, we're going to need a 3-minute rest period. So once we get these plated and we get the rest of the preserves on top, we're going to let those sit and rest for 3 minutes. So again, as I told you guys before, whenever we was talking about cooking different things, steak, pork, all those type of things, you definitely want to give them a rest period. The longer they rest, the more the flavor is going to sort of develop, and those juices are going to actually be, it's going to be more juicy for you if you let something rest after you get done cooking it. Because as you're cooking it, all those different fibers are starting to melt down, and the fats are starting to melt down, and so those juices are coming out. So if you let it rest, then those juices will actually continue to cook inside and melt, and will actually make your cut of meat more juicy. So. Oops. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and plate these. So I will grab a couple different chops instead of here. I think I'm going to grab a couple different chops. There we go. All right. These and plate it like that. Okay. Now, like I said, with the rest of this juice, as you see the preserves here, we're going to take that and we're just going to basically come in here and lay it right on top of this. See how that's thickened up for us. Beautiful. Okay. Now we will let those start to rest. Turn that off. And then we are cooking our vegetables, and so those will be done here in just a moment. So those look great. That peach really smells good. So hopefully you guys are trying different preserves. So one of the people on the recipe site actually was talking about using jalapeno preserves, which would be kind of spicy. So that would be kind of fun too. So hopefully this isn't the last time you guys use this recipe, because like me, hopefully you fall in love with it, and you can venture out and try different things as you go. So that would be really, really good. Like I said, the strawberry was great. I'm really looking forward to the peach tonight. Blackberry would be excellent. Yeah, it would be a good one. So all those different would give you different flavors, and it wouldn't become mundane and the same thing over and over and over. But it's the same recipe, so it's real easy. Like I said, 1/4 cup of your preserve, 1/4 cup of your apple cider vinegar, and then a tablespoon of yellow mustard. I think the next time I do this, I would probably like to try a stone ground mustard, because that might add a little bit more depth to it, which would be kind of good. But yeah, don't worry about trying different things and seeing how it goes. So the turnout, like I said, I hopefully you guys fall in love with this recipe. As you see, it's very easy, very quick. You can get from the table to, or the stove to the table in a matter of minutes. And whenever you've had a long day at work, it's one of those things that you want to look forward to doing. So, plus it's a good meal. It's somewhat healthy. I think there was, in a serving, how much sugar was in the preserves? Do you remember?
8 or 9 grams.
Yeah, 8 or 9 grams to a teaspoon, so it wasn't too bad. So our vegetables are done, so I can pull those out of the microwave. And by now we are almost through the 3-minute rest period, as I burn my fingers on hot vegetables. Oop. I about threw them on top of Kim's pork chop. She would have had a problem with that. Okay. And there we have it. So there is your very berry pork chops, and like I said, the only reason why it's called that is because they use strawberry in the ingredients on the main one. So, but again, this recipe is real easy. It's quick. It's good. And so hopefully you guys can get out there and try different preserves next time you try it. And like I said, maybe even a different kind of mustard, so that'd be kind of different too. So I'm going to go ahead and turn you guys around and give you my send-off. So this week's been fun. It's been quick. It's been easy. Hopefully next week we'll figure something out. Like I said, we might do the cherry bombs. If you guys have any thoughts or reflections about that, just let me know. And hopefully you guys was able to get over to the channel and watch the gumbo. I tried to upload it on Facebook, but it was too long of a video. The roux only took 10 minutes, guys. So I'm assuming it's probably our conductive hot or our conductive stove top, and that's probably the reason why it didn't take long at all. Like I keep telling you in the video, if it takes longer, don't fret. Like I said, I've never had a roux develop that fast. So head on over to Come Cook Out with Joe and check out the gumbo. And then, of course, this one will be on there as well. So once tonight I sit down, I'll upload this either tonight or tomorrow. So next week, be looking for the recipe or the ingredients. It'll either be the cherry bombs or we'll figure something out from that. So, again, thanks for coming in. And, guys, I'll see you next week. Take care.